Last night in a CityNews exclusive, we told you about a group of tenants living in simple rooms for $500 a month, but they were facing eviction because the landlord wanted to convert the building into a boutique hotel. Well, it turns out those people may only be the tip of the iceberg. In this booming housing market, more and more people barely surviving are finding it impossible now to find cheap housing, and that is putting a huge pressure on the system.
What does it mean to have this place?
Well, it means a lot, because see, I was streetless homeless for quite a while. So, and a good friend of works gave me this place.
Douglas Fibbert would likely still be on the streets or even dead were it not for Homes First, his home for the last 20 years. Homes First helps people, especially those with mental health and drug issues, get off the street. But now, services like Homes First are feeling pressures from above.
How much do you pay now for your rooms?
It's about $850
for the 2 rooms.
For the 2 rooms.
That's because we're hearing more and more stories like those of Hamish and Ian, who we introduced you to last night. They are being evicted from their $500 a month rooms so a boutique hotel can go in their place. Others are losing similar, simple yet cheap units as landlords look for more rent or to convert them to homes for sale.
A $500 unit is almost impossible to find. You might find a room for that. But if anybody needs any support services or anything beyond that, very difficult to do. Let me check with my staff.
Jamie Facciolo is the housing and shelter manager for Homes First. He says the booming housing market is threatening to leave the most vulnerable out in the cold.
The pressures on the system, in particular the homeless shelters, the occupancy rates are at capacity. I would say they're probably at 99%, 98 to 99%. And we're seeing long-term stays in the emergency shelters.
Facciolo says even with subsidies from the city, the housing situation is in danger of becoming a full-blown crisis.
They're living on an income that may be $700 a month in total. The average market rent for a bachelor apartment is over $900. There's no options for them.
We have all sorts of disruptive forces right now in the economy, whether it's people who are converting their homes or investment properties into Airbnb rentals.
Councillor Kristen Wong-Tam, whose ward is home to many subsidized and low-rent units, says the city has to do its part by ensuring rental subsidies continue. TCH units are in a state of good repair, and our social services are there. But she says there is more that can be done. But Queen's Park and Ottawa need to join in.
That we have to not just create policies, which we have plenty of, but make sure that we have the budgetary allocations to make sure that we can keep people housed and supported.
As for Hibbert, now 70 with a roof over his head, he worries that any positive changes as we face this potential housing crisis will come too late for his friends still on the street.
I don't know how tough times they're having, but they are having a tough time. I don't know if tough is their word. For me, it was real tough.